Keeping a close eye on your forecast, and rain chances heading into this afternoon going to be higher than what we have been seeing for the past few days. I'll be breaking down all of those details on your Futurecast coming up.
Plus, a third arrest has been made in the Woodland Avenue homicide case. We'll have the latest in just a moment.
With breaking news and weather, Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Good morning, Gulf Coast, and thanks for joining us right here on Fox 10 Midday. It's Thursday. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell.
And I'm Jennifer Lambers.
Jen, as always, we're starting with a look at our forecast out there. Is it just me, or is it a little less humid?
It's not just you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I figured.
I know, that is the case. It feels better outside. Yeah. It's noticeable. You walk outside and you just kind of sit there and like,
the hair isn't as frizzy on TV today,
exactly,
so it feels a little better.
Hair's not as frizzy. I didn't have all that moisture on my car waking up, and my sunglasses didn't fog as soon as I stepped out the door.
Something was off.
Yeah, so that's going to be one of the main differences that we're tracking for today. It feels better out there, courtesy of some of those northerly winds that we saw yesterday, and still a little bit of it for this morning. So it's not a major change, but it's enough to say, hey, there's a difference in the air. And the good news is that conditions across the southeast, it's calm and it's quiet out there. Really here locally, we're just seeing some of that cloud cover, some of that sunshine. Majority of those showers have pushed offshore. They were impacting some of our inland spots, and what's closer towards the mid-south is beginning to fizzle out. Taking a look just a little bit closer, just starting to see that mix of sun and clouds out there. A nice beginning to start off for this Thursday. Traffic moving smoothly, a little slow moving for that westbound travel in case you're going to be heading out across the Bayway anytime soon. Just a heads up as you get closer towards Wallace Tunnel, noticing it just slowing down just a bit. Those winds still a little breezy out there, but the temperature is resting in the lower 80s. Dew points lower 70s. Reminder, they've mainly been seeing those in the mid to upper 70s for the past few days. So the feels like temperatures are only straying away by 5 degrees. Hey, I'm not mad about that, especially for the month of June. It's feeling better out there. Temperatures just right now resting in the upper 70s, still holding on to a few of those. Lower to mid 80s out there, but these dew points still some upper 60s. Now we're starting to introduce some of those lower to mid 70s, but taking a look at our comfort scale, when we were waking up this morning, many spots were in the upper 60s, so we're still more in that a bit humid category. Now we're getting back up into muggy, but not quite seeing any of the miserable categories out there. Now, heated to seas all across our area, now beginning to warm up. Still just seeing some of those mid to upper 80s, some of those lower 90s. A reminder at the beginning of the week, by this point in Fox 10 Midday, we were already seeing triple digits out there. So it is better. It is that difference that you'll notice for this morning. But as we do get in to this afternoon, rain chances are higher heading into today, especially some of those ramping up by late afternoon, early evening. I'll be breaking down more of those details and the timing coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
All right, Jen, thank you for that. Well, as we just saw, things are pretty mild in our area right now, but severe weather watches are in effect from the Midwest to the southeast. It's all thanks to a series of storms around a high-pressure ridge known as the Ring of Fire. It brought flash flooding and high winds and reports of hurricanes in some states. In North Carolina, folks got blasted with 70-mile-per-hour winds and large hail, and officials are warning drivers to stay off the roads if they can. This same system also brought severe storms to the northern plains from Nebraska to Wisconsin, even causing significant flash flooding in Minneapolis.
It was a monsoon out here. It's the most rain I've seen in a long time. I was driving through, thought I'd make it through, definitely did not make it through.
And get this, the storms came toward the end of one of the worst early season heat waves on record. Triple-digit temperatures were reported from Texas to the northeast, the result of a high-pressure phenomenon called a heat dome, which forces hot air down and traps it there. In the meantime, severe weather in southern Minnesota may have spawned multiple tornadoes. A driver took video of this twister as it crossed the road in front of her in Heartland. Take a look at that. Law enforcement apparently saw it too. Weather officials have received reports of damage to a barn there. And new this morning, the Pentagon is setting the record straight on what really happened to Iran's nuclear sites following the U.S. airstrikes over the weekend. Fox's Rebecca Castor has those details from Washington.
This Pentagon test video shows what the bunker buster bombs used to strike Iran's nuclear sites on Saturday are capable of. U.S. pilots dropped 12 of them on Fordow. And in a fiery press conference, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth made it clear Iran's nuclear program suffered a heavy blow.
You want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans.
Trump officials are pushing back after a leaked preliminary U.S. intelligence report suggested otherwise. But now other agencies are weighing in. The CIA, Department of National Intelligence, and the UN Atomic Energy Agency all say the nuclear sites are destroyed or severely damaged.
The pilots stated, quote, "This was the brightest explosion that I've ever seen. It literally looked like daylight."
Iran's supreme leader is still in hiding, but shared his first public message since the ceasefire. He praised Iran's retaliatory attack on the U.S. military base in Qatar and says such an action can be repeated in the future, too. Should any aggression occur, the enemy will definitely pay a heavy price.
Iran's going to have to say a lot of things right now in order to bolster their image, but we're watching very closely what they do.
The Pentagon also revealed that it was just 44 U.S. soldiers between the ages of 21 and 28 who successfully defended the base in Qatar, America's largest in the Middle East. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Meanwhile, along with wedding guests, protesters showed up for the Venice nuptials between Amazon billionaire Jeff Bezos and his fiancée Lauren Sanchez. Dozens gathered at the city's St. Mark's Square, where they hosted a fake wedding to protest the famous couple, with signs decrying global greed and calls for justice. Police broke up that gathering, and soldiers were seen dragging some protesters out of the square. Bezos and Sanchez arrived in Venice Wednesday ahead of their wedding weekend, which has inspired several of these protests. And locally now, continuing coverage this morning, an already overpopulated Mobile County Metro Jail is now getting a few more inmates. As we first reported yesterday on Good Day Gulf Coast, this comes after the jail in Macon County had to shut down, sending its 42 inmates to other areas. Now, the sheriff said the jail has serious lock and security issues. The Mobile County Metro Jail warden says they've taken in about 17 inmates so far from Macon County. That doesn't sound like a huge number, but the warden says Metro is already overpopulated.
We certainly can handle the number that we have. We're beyond our capacity, obviously, but we make do. We have the personnel to accommodate the needs. Could we use more room? Absolutely. But we will nevertheless assist other agencies when they call upon us.
Now, the warden says Sheriff Paul Birch is in talks with local and state leaders on making more room for inmates, but there's no concrete plan on what that could look like just yet. As for the Macon County Jail, there's no timetable on when it will be repaired. Well, right now, law enforcement officials are speaking out after dozens of undocumented immigrants were taken into custody at a Baldwin County construction site. ICE agents conducted a raid at the site of the new Gulf Shores High School. We learned Rayburn General Contractors is overseeing the project, which is funded by taxpayers. Alabama law requires contractors who are building anything funded by taxpayers to use something called E-Verify. It's a software system that allows employers to confirm an employee's eligibility for employment. According to Homeland Security investigations, large corporations aren't always to blame.
So we do find that large corporations often do attempt to follow the rules and utilize E-Verify as a tool to ensure their own employees and workforce are legal. But then they bring in subcontractors that don't follow those same standards and knowingly employ illegal aliens.
In the meantime, Gulf Shores School Superintendent Dr. Matt Aiken nor Rayburn General Contractors have commented on the situation. Also new this morning, the Outmore Police Department making a second arrest in as many days in the Carter Avenue drag race shooting. 24-year-old Javarius Watkins turning himself in yesterday at the Escambia County Detention Center. He's facing 2 charges of attempted murder and murder. Tyler Hall was arrested Tuesday night and faces the exact same charges. Atmore police say more arrests are expected. And listen to this, Mobile police arresting this man on your screen, King Williams, last night in connection to the Woodland Avenue homicide. He's the third person arrested for the murder. MPD says on May 20th, police responded to an accident of a car being flipped over in front of Metals USA. Police say the driver, Cedric Tinsley, was pronounced dead on the scene. After an investigation, it was determined that Tinsley was shot to death. Williams and 2 other juvenile male suspects have been arrested for the crime. We're told Williams is facing 2 charges, including first-degree robbery and murder. Well, take a look at your screen right now. The Pritchard Police Department is hoping you can identify this guy. Police say he is suspected of stealing a wallet off the table at Hart's Fried Chicken, located just off Wilson Avenue. That video shows the wallet sitting at the table, and this guy leans over to grab it, then stuff it back in his pocket. Investigators say if you think you know who this is, you should call 251-452-2211. And new this morning, a Pritchard funeral home director accused of improperly burying people pleading guilty to lesser charges. Joseph Lee Bonner had been charged with corpse abuse, a felony, but he agreed to a plea bargain and admitted to 3 counts of deceptive trade practices. That's a misdemeanor. The judge accepted the recommendation of prosecutors and sentenced Bonner to a 1-year suspended prison term and 1 year of probation. Now, the allegations against Heritage Memorial Gardens surfaced in 2019 after Mobile County Sheriff's deputies raided the facility and exhumed 3 bodies. Fox 10 News will have much more on this case at Fox 10 News at 5, including a reaction from a relative whose son was buried at that cemetery. And still ahead on Fox 10 Midday, a new postpartum support group has been launched right here in the Port City to support mothers during one of the most vulnerable seasons of their lives. We'll have much more in a live preview, but before we go, let's check in with Jen.
And taking another look at your forecast, a live view outside down on Dauphin Island, and still just starting to see some of that sunshine out there, a nice breeze, a few puffy cumulus clouds. Over the next few hours, those temperatures cooler than what we've been seeing for the past few days, maxing out in the mid-80s with some mostly cloudy skies, but rain coverage possible for other parts of the Gulf Coast. I'll break down that timing coming up when we come back. Keeping a close eye on your forecast, and rain chances heading into this afternoon going to be higher than what we have been seeing for the past few days. I'll be breaking down all of those details on your Futurecast coming up.
Plus, a 3rd arrest has been made in the Woodland Avenue homicide case. We'll have the latest in just a moment. Welcome back. For many, becoming a mother is an incredible gift, but it's also a major life change. According to the CDC, 1 in 8 women struggle with postpartum depression in the U.S., but experts believe it's much more common than the data reveals. While some moms have family and friends to help, others step into motherhood alone. And that's where the Motherhood Circle comes in. Joining me now to talk this morning about a brand new postpartum support group is Becca Dial. And Becca, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to talk about such an important topic. And first things first, you're a mom yourself. So tell me, how did you come up with this idea?
So in March of 2020, I had my oldest daughter, and I myself walked through postpartum depression, anxiety, had a really hard time. Obviously, it was the middle of the pandemic, so there was not a lot of options for even seeing family at that point. So I just thought that's what motherhood looked like. And I was a postpartum nurse at the time, and I was like, I got this. And then I got home and I didn't have it. And I was like, this is not what I expected. And I thought to myself, you know, this would be so different if people knew what people went through and talked about what people went through. And it wasn't until 2024-ish when I got into therapy that my therapist actually said, I wish that I could get all my moms together in a room and just let them talk to each other, because then they would see they weren't crazy. Yeah. And I was like, well, why can't we do that? Yeah. Why is that not a thing? So for me, it was just a passion project that this really has just come full circle. And we started it in April. We decided to make it exist, and now we're trying to make it good. So
it's a fairly new group. We're so excited for what you guys are doing. Obviously a huge need there. You know, as someone who's walked through postpartum depression and someone who's helped women walk through that as well, what do you wish more people knew about postpartum experience?
I wish more people knew that everybody has those thoughts and feelings, that you're not the only person on the earth that has those thoughts and feelings, that it can be very lonely, but it doesn't have to be. And that it is really hard, but it's also something that everyone goes through. It looks different for everybody, but it's just very important to come together and to try to make it more talked about and make it more normal that moms do struggle, and it is something that we need to talk about and we need to bring light to.
Absolutely. You said that your group has been meeting since April. You have
Yes.
about 5 to 7 people meeting
Yes.
consistently.
Yes.
Who is this group available to, and what are the details surrounding it?
So we meet the last Thursday of every month. We meet at Azalea City Church of Christ in Sims. Usually dinner is provided. Some of our sweet ladies at church have been providing us food since April. And we just get together and we talk. We have some college girls that do childcare for us. So if you feel like you want to take your babies to the childcare room and have a meal by yourself, that's available. You don't have to use that. And we just sit and we talk about our experiences and what we're going through that week. We talk about how hard it is parenting in a social media age where everything is perfect online. And then you look around your house and you're like, where's the perfect? Because it's not here.
Yes.
So, we just talk and we bond and we, just make each other realize that, hey, we're all going through the same thing and it all looks different and none of our kids are the same, but somehow it's all the same at the end of the day. And I just think that mental health postpartum is just a big hole in our care. And I think that, like, physically, I was prepared for postpartum. I knew what to expect. Mentally, I was like, hold on, this is so different.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that too, because so many people, I believe, will relate to each other and their weaknesses and in their struggles. And this circle is so, so needed. So really quickly, before we go, can you just tell us, you meet the last Thursday of every month,
The last Thursday of every month.
And it is a free group.
It is a free group,
Okay.
yes. And childcare is free as well. So, if you're a mom in the area and you want to come out, come join us, and we meet tonight. So
Wonderful. I can't wait to hear about it. Becca, thank you so much for being here today. We'll have this full interview posted on our website, fox10tv.com, as well as information about the group. Jen?
Well, going ahead and taking another look at your forecast and a live view outside out in Pensacola Beach, and still just starting to see some of those beautiful conditions out there. Some nice vibrant water, a little bit of a nice breeze out there, but those waves, they are breaking a little bit further offshore for this morning. So just something to keep in mind in case you're going to be heading on down towards our coastal waters. But the temperatures out there, some improvements in comparison to what we have been seeing. Now, they're resting in the lower to mid 80s in both Gulf Shores and Pensacola, but those dew points, they're a lot lower despite seeing some of those southeasterly winds out there, a little bit more breezy closer towards Pensacola International. We are starting to see some lower humidity, so it's feeling better this morning. Feels like temperatures not straying away too much, but this will be short-lived. Taking a look at the temperatures heading into the rest of today, we're still going to be warming up out there, maxing out upper 80s, those lower to possibly mid 90s. These temperatures will just be slightly above average for what we should be seeing for the month of June. Normally we should be around 90, instead seeing those lower 90s. Better than what we saw yesterday, and luckily nowhere near that previous record of 101 set back in 1914. Now, once you do take the humidity into account, it's still out there. It's lower, but we're still going to be noticing those differences. Feels like temperatures will be warming up to the mid to upper 90s. More of those triple digits mainly coming into play heading into this afternoon. Not so much in the morning time hours like we have been seeing for the beginning of the week. The heat indices over the next few days, those will continue. Upper 90s, triple digits possible for the days. Lower than what we have been seeing, so it'll be a little bit better out there. Still take breaks, however, stay hydrated, find that AC and find some creative ways to stay cool. But timing things out in our futurecast, we will introduce the potential for some rain chances out there once we get further along into this afternoon and this evening. We're starting off with that mix of sun and clouds out there, but closer towards 2-3 o'clock, that's when we'll start to notice some of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms beginning to make their appearance. Random where they start to develop, but really ramping up that coverage closer towards 5 and 6 o'clock. Once again, heavy downpour downpours, gusty winds, frequent lightning, some loud thunder, and even some small hail will be possible in any of these storms. Make sure you're driving carefully. Remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. We've had lots of reports about some of the lightning strikes. They're cloud to ground, meaning that they're striking something out there on the ground level. So please make sure that you are being careful. Always head inside or get into your vehicle. You'll be a lot better. But once we get past that sun setting, that's when those chances begin to fizzle out because they lose that daytime heating. Rain chances will only continue over the next few days. It's our summertime pattern here. No end in sight. And this will only continue heading into next week. Rain chances possible every single day. The rip curl risk at our local beaches, it is low for today. Heading into tomorrow and Saturday, that surf height really closer towards 1 to 2 feet for today. Water temperatures beginning to warm up into the upper 80s. But when I'm tracking over the next 7 days, I mentioned it, that summertime pattern, it's here to stay. Even looking on the horizon, no end in sight. July 1st is officially next week with July 4th on Friday. And still looking at a very similar pattern by the time we make it closer towards the holiday. I'll talk more about your forecast coming up in just a little bit. More Fox 10 Midday is on the way, but first.
Yeah, these signs behind me can only mean one thing, that it is time for 2025 Shark Fest here at the Gulf State Park Pier. We'll have more coming.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday this morning. Gulf State is hosting its 2025 Shark Fest this weekend. It's full of fun activities and great information. Fox 10 News reporter Stephen Moody is live this morning with more. Let's toss things over to him.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting 3 days here for 2025 Shark Fest, and it's all happening right here at the Gulf State Park Pier. It's time for the 2025 Shark Fest at the Gulf State Park Pier, and the next 3 days will be fun and educational.
Every time we come out here, we get to do presentations, dissections, really just tell people about the shark research that we get to do right here in the Northern Gulf. So it's really exciting stuff and a really fun way to connect with the people that are out here every day on the pier or visiting just here at the beach.
And there's something for everyone. All of this to learn about this amazing species.
Most people understand it's an education thing and they come out for it. That's like our busiest times is when we have our dissection. They do a shark and a ray every day.
A lot of times people don't know what to expect. Some people are learning about sharks for the first time and some people know everything. We love the kids at the front with their hands raised. It's really fun to see everyone out here really enthusiastic.
Making it a full shark experience that you can only get on the Gulf Coast.
We get to connect with the people, share what we've been doing, so it's really rewarding. I really enjoy being out here every year.
We have more on how you can participate and a full schedule right now on our website at fox10tv.com. Reporting here, Gulf State Park, Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
Looks like a lot of fun there. Thank you, Stephen. Well, coming up, President Trump is looking for a new Fed chair. We'll have that story and more in your business headlines. Plus, Vanessa Pacheco is heading to Dauphin Island today for Very Vanessa. We'll tell you what she's up to straight ahead. The time now 11:27 on your Thursday. We'll be back with more Fox 10 Midday. Welcome back in. The Dauphin Island Heritage and Arts Council is helping locals and visitors tap into their artistic side with a lineup of unique workshops. Vanessa joins us from their art studio and is trying her hand at pine needle weaving.
We are getting very crafty today. How cute is this, you guys? We have an oyster shell and we have some pine needle. With me right now is Kim Ahola. She is the instructor for this pine needle weaving class. Okay, Kim, what are we making today?
We are making an oyster shell pine needle basket.
This is so creative. Okay, so walk me through the first step here. You kind of already helped me out. So what's my next step?
Okay, you're going to take your needle and you're going to go through the top portion of the thread on the outside and come out the thread on the inside.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to do that. And while I do this, Kim, what inspired you to create these items? These are so unique, by the way.
Thanks. I had seen them at the Mobile Museum of Art and went home and did some research, and here I am today.
So cool. Honestly, I can see that you have a love for animals too.
Yes, most of my themes are the island animals, the sea turtles, eagles, alligators, and the box turtles.
So beautiful pieces, obviously. Okay, here I am struggling, you guys. I'm still struggling. I guess this is a curve, so it's like coming to the other side. I'm trying to, okay, is that good?
Perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, so if anyone wants to see these pieces up close, y'all do have a Last Friday art night tomorrow, right?
Yes, it's from 6 to 8. We have meet the artist. We have live music, snacks, and door prizes.
Yeah, so if anyone wants more information on that, you can obviously go to dolphinislandarts.org. And okay, let's see. Okay, I feel like I'm getting somewhere now.
You're doing great. Very
now,
good.
I'm curious, when you kind of finish up this pine needle, how do you add more to that?
Okay, so you're going to take a piece of pine straw and use the blunt end, and you're going to insert it in the center of the bundle.
Oh, I was kind of curious because we have like 3 more rows to go, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm struggling here. Don't zoom in on this right now. Now, Kim, for anyone that wants to take your class, you had one earlier this month. You have a few in July too, right?
Yes, the July classes are full, but I do have 2 more coming up at the end of August.
Okay, that's good to know. And of course, you can get all the information on that pine needle weaving class. You can go to the Dauphin Island Heritage and Arts Council Facebook page. They post that class, and you have other workshops as well. So if you need all that information, you can check out their Facebook page. Also their website, dolphinislandarts.org. Kim, thank you so much. This has been really fun. I'm barely on that very first one. So again, I have 3 more rows to go, guys. So I have to concentrate and see. Let me move this way so I can. Kim, thanks again, you guys.
You're welcome.
All those workshops on Facebook. And of course, I'm going to have all of that information, fox10tv.com. Make sure to click on the Very Vanessa tab.
So much fun. Well, going ahead and taking another look at your forecast, more of that construction taking place closer towards the Fairhope Pier. Noticing some differences there every few days, so noticing those improvements, but plenty of sunshine, conditions staying dry, and a very nice light breeze. Those temperatures, however, they're feeling a little better. It was better starting off for this morning because that humidity was lower, so if you noticed that you stepped outside, it didn't feel terrible out there because it wasn't as sticky. Those dew points were mainly in the upper 60s. Now we're starting to see them pop up into the lower 70s as those winds are just shifting a little bit out of the southeast. But in Fairhope and West Mobile, those temperatures in the lower to mid 80s. Feels like temperatures straying away by a few degrees, seeing that about 4 to 6 degrees is where they're straying away from for the actual air temperature. But taking a look at satellite radar across the Gulf Coast, it's calm, it's quiet out there, just a mix of sun, some clouds out there. But we will start to notice more of that rain coverage ramping up heading into this afternoon and this evening. Rain coverage today will be higher than what we saw yesterday and on Tuesday. So do just keep that in mind, especially for any of those late afternoon, those evening plans. If you have any of those sports practices, I know my daughter's swim lessons closer towards 5 o'clock. They're continue to get canceled because of some of these showers and storms. But reminder, it's always for your safety that those are canceled. We might see more of that heading into today. Things will really start to pop up closer towards 3 and 4 o'clock. Heavy downpours, frequent lightning, gusty winds, small hail, some very loud thunder possible in any of these. And a reminder, when thunder roars, head indoors. We've had lots of reports of that cloud to lightning strike, meaning that it's hitting something on the ground. So make sure you find a safe place. You head inside, you get into your vehicle if you do start to see or hear any of those rumbles of thunder or see that lightning out there. More of that rain coverage continuing closer towards 5 and 6 o'clock. Really, this is when we're going to be seeing the bulk of it. So late evening commuters, if you have those dinner plans, possibly seeing more of that rain coverage, staying a little more quiet closer towards the immediate coastline, but pretty active further inland. You're looking at a much better chance to see one of those passing showers or thunderstorms heading into the rest of today. Once that sun sets, those storms lose that fuel and they begin to fizzle out. Temperatures today still warmer out there, just maxing out lower 90s. Feels like temperatures getting into the triple digits. Improvement with that slightly lower humidity. It's just those little changes that we'll start to notice. Taking a live look down in Orange Beach. Waves just breaking a little bit further offshore. We are noticing some of those breezy winds, but hey, that's not stopping all those folks from getting out there and enjoying it. The rip current risk over the next few days, low today, tomorrow, continuing that way once we get closer towards the weekend. Some nice conditions, but as always, know the name of the beach you're located on, where the closest lifeguard stand is and pay close attention to those beach flags. Mainly just seeing some of those yellow flags to begin for today, but also purple flags signifying the jellyfish. Checking in on the tropics. It's quiet out there. Again, we had a tropical storm out there for our first named system of the year. It lived for less than 24 hours. It was small, it was weak, it was unimpressive, but it was out in the middle of the Atlantic, so one storm knocked off. But the rest of the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf waters are quiet right now. Our summertime pattern is here to stay locally across the Gulf Coast. However, rain chances every single afternoon, temperatures in the lower 90s with some decent humidity out there. I'll talk more about your forecast and what I'm tracking heading into the end of next week. That's coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
Jen, thank you. Listen to this. President Trump considers naming the next Fed chair early. Shell Oil says it's not talking to BP about a takeover. More layoffs are happening at Disney as we speak, and changes are coming to X. As always, here's Fox's CJ Papa with your business headlines.
The Wall Street Journal says President Trump is considering naming the successor to Fed Chair Jerome Powell as early as September. The new Fed chair will take over in May. There's usually about a 4-month transition. The Journal also reporting Shell in talks to acquire its rival, BP. The deal would be a landmark combo of two oil giants, but Shell dismissing the Journal's report as market speculation, saying it does not plan to make an offer for BP and denying it has approached its rival about a takeover. Shell says no talks have taken place about a merger. The Walt Disney Company starting another round of layoffs, which will affect several hundred of its product and tech employees around the world. The entertainment giant is realigning to focus on streaming and digital platforms. Disney's TV, marketing, publicity, and finance teams were included in cuts made earlier this month. And a new change coming to X. Elon Musk announcing, quote, starting tomorrow, the aesthetic nightmare that is hashtags will be banned from ads on X. Musk urged users to stop using hashtags last year, saying the platform's search and discovery systems do not need them and that they look ugly. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Southwest Airlines is looking to nab high-spending customers. The airline CEO telling CNBC it's considering airport lounges, also more premium seating and long-haul international flights. Southwest has faced pressure from competitors, though, and last year an activist investor pushed the carrier to increase its revenue. In the meantime, a new competitor is hoping to gain steam in the e-commerce delivery service industry. Listen to this. Delta Airlines debuted its door-to-door delivery service called Deliver Direct last year. As the Wall Street Journal reports, the airline is hoping to up its goal from delivery tens of thousands of small packages to hundreds of thousands of packages daily in just the next few years. The report says the airline is utilizing available belly space in its passenger planes as well. And the report adds this strategy could help Delta follow industry giants like FedEx and United Parcel Service closely. The report also says the packages could be delivered as soon as 2.5 days at a cheaper price, but there are some potential risks like flight delays. When we come back here on Fox 10 Midday, the best wine countries are revealed. We'll tell you what those are in just a moment. Plus, the Queen of Clean is showing us how to get rid of grease stains a whole lot quicker. Also, welcome back. Listen to this. A Florida man took the saying, every journey begins with a single step, quite literally.
Because he just completed a nearly 6-month trek along the East Coast, and he did it all by walking.
Wow. Doug Foos departed Key Largo on January 1st.
This past Tuesday, he completed his journey when he reached his final destination in Fort Kent, Maine, which is by the Canadian border.
And Foos says this was the longest hike he's ever completed.
He says that he tried to make his pack as light as possible by only carrying the essentials such as his tent, food, and a water filter.
I can imagine. He says the only thing he wants to do now is to get cleaned up and sit on the couch and watch some TV. Absolutely.
He saw there he even had a police escort. Probably by the end of it.
He was safe.
Yep.
I wonder if he was doing this for a special cause.
See, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, or just his own journey.
Honestly, maybe he just wanted to get his steps in for life.
Whoa,
maxing out that Apple Watch.
What a scenery change, though.
Right.
From Florida to Maine.
What a journey. Good for you, and you deserve that much needed rest for sure. Well, France is raising a glass and is yet again dominating the world of wine.
Not surprised. France reigned supreme at the 2025 Decanter World Wine Awards.
It picked up 3,200 medals and 14 Best in Show competitions.
Champagne alone scored 27 honors.
And then Italy and Spain were also strong, each picking up more than 2,000 awards this year.
Canada also made the list with an ice wine that costs up to, get this, $250,000 a bottle.
You know, that's delicious. The Decanter Awards are considered to be the world's largest and most influential wine competition. Have you had wine in France?
I have.
I knew you had.
Yes, I've had it in France. I've had it in Italy, Greece.
Okay, so what's the best according to you?
I wouldn't say I have that picky of a palate over there. I just get whatever's the cheapest, honestly, because there you can get it for like $2 a glass, so it's great.
Right.
I would say here I go between the red wines of red blends or Pinots or Riesling for white.
I'm with you. We went to Europe last year and we had wine in Italy, and it was delicious. Only spent like maybe $20 on our most expensive bottle, but I was like, it's wine in Italy.
It's wine in Italy.
It's going to be better than wine here.
Right, but you can get a whole bottle for about $6 over there at a restaurant. So it's a good way to drink.
Okay, well, listen to this. Grease stains can happen quickly, whether we're cooking with oil or eating hot food.
And today, the Queen of Clean shows us a simple and effective way to get rid of those stains.
You know, when you go out to dinner and you've had a nice cup of coffee and everything, and then you kind of glance down at your shirt, and maybe that olive oil drizzle has dripped down on you, or maybe it's the Italian salad dressing, and you're going out afterwards. Now, you don't want to go out with grease all over you, so what do you got? What can you take that out with? I'm going to show you. If you're at a restaurant, ask for artificial sweetener. It's that easy. Now, you can use it at home on linens, but on your clothes, you're just going to sprinkle it on, and you want to sprinkle on a heavy coat. And then I just take the package and tap it. Now, if you're in a restaurant and you need to sprinkle it on, you know, run into the bathroom area and do it, and you're fine. But push down on it so that it starts absorbing. Give it enough time to absorb. Now, that's going to be maybe 5 minutes or so. When you're done, all you need to do is brush it off good with your hand, and then just take a damp cloth or a damp paper towel or a damp napkin and go over it. Once you've let it soak long enough, it will be totally gone. So make sure you give it at least 5 minutes, because the entire idea is that it absorbs the grease. It's not a spotter. It absorbs. So next time you have a problem, give it a try. Or if you're at home and people get grease on your napkins, do exactly the same thing. Put it on, nice heavy coat, leave it on, walk away, come back, grease gone. Artificial sweetener, more than for your coffee. For more information, go to queenofclean.com. Thanks for talking dirty with the Queen of Clean.
Or if you're about to anchor a newscast 15 minutes before and you're eating garlic bread and the butter runs off and goes completely down your dress, also a great tip.
See,
some good tips. That
sounds
happened
like you know
last
this
week.
from experience.
Literally happens almost every single day I'm about to anchor with you.
I would say that's the danger too of our cooking segments, is sometimes they'll get it on you in the middle of it. So
I'm wearing black today to hopefully.
So there you go. So now we'll have the artificial sugar on the side too. I had the Tide to Go sticks.
Okay.
Now we'll have
We'll
those.
add that to the list. Alrighty. Well, we'll be back with 3 to know before you go. Right now we're taking a live look. Where are we looking at, Jen?
This is down on Dauphin Island at the Sea Lab, looking beautiful and breezy. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back. In today's Take a Look at This, Patrick Cornell has a trio of tales about little lost animals needing help to.
Beautiful and breezy. We'll be back after this.
Free, just $15 a month.
Welcome back. In today's Take a Look at This, Patrick Cornell has a trio of tales about little lost animals needing help to find their way home. Check it out.
Come here, come here. This poor lost fawn isn't a con, but it is trying to bust through the bars to break into the Coweta County, Georgia jail.
Stop.
The clearly terrified tiny deer somehow slipped past guards outside where it attempted to finagle itself through a fence into the jail's restricted area. Deputy Austin Webb quickly snatched up the wannabe inmate and walked it back to his car.
I know, buddy.
Where he locked the animal in the backseat to keep it safe, but only for a bit. Deputy Webb found a good spot nearby to release the deer back into the wild. Here's another young one that lost its way. Can you spot the wild animal lurking in the field? Keep looking, I promise it's there. And there it is. Yeah, that's a baby 650-pound bull moose hanging out in a park in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Parks and wildlife officials say it's not safe for a moose to be that close to people and pets, so they worked their way through the brush, got the moose immobilized, then using man and machine power to heave-ho the animal out of the area. Firefighters helped hose it down to keep the little one cool until they eventually lifted it up and into a trailer. The moose has been taken to a new, safer home. In Alaska, a meandering moose made its way into the Anchorage Fire Department maintenance shop. I guess these things just really love firefighters, but this moose wasn't looking for men in uniform. She was seemingly trying to find her misplaced kiddos, and after 20 seconds or so of looking high and low, Mama Moose realized her calves were elsewhere, waltzing away to continue the search. No worries, it didn't take long for her offspring to emerge from their hiding spot, ready for a snack. I feel like my fellow parents can really relate to this story. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
It's that time, 3 to know before you go today. Dune director Denis Villeneuve is taking on James Bond. Amazon MGM Studios announcing the filmmaker is set to direct the next movie in the Bond franchise. Villeneuve says he's a die-hard fan of 007 and grew up watching the films with his father. This next installment of the franchise follows 2021's No Time to Die, starring Daniel Craig. Villeneuve's first big task will be finding a new Bond, as Craig hung up his hat on the Bond franchise after wrapping up that film. And then the fourth private astronaut mission to the International Space Station underway right now. This morning, the SpaceX Dragon docked onto the orbiting lab, and earlier this month, NASA announced it was delaying the mission due to concerns about a possible leak on the ISS. The leak, though, is nothing new. Air has been seeping out of a Russia-controlled module for years. But recent efforts to fix it may have caused a bigger problem, and now officials are concerned the ISS might not have enough air. For now, Russian and American teams will continue to monitor that situation. And finally, get ready for some nostalgia. Steve Burns, the original host of the children's show Blue's Clues, is back to share some positive energy. He's launching a new podcast called Alive this fall, and according to a news release, the show will be a cozy weekly series that talks about how to stay human while navigating a complicated world. In recent years, Burns has built a big following on social media, even serving as the original host of Blue's Clues from 1996 to 2003 before leaving to attend college. Blue's Clues was a huge part of my childhood. I don't know about you. Did you grow up on it?
Not quite. I recognize it though, and I
Okay.
definitely recognize him. He had a TikTok that he came back and was like, "Hey, I'm sorry I disappeared. Let's talk about it."
I think I saw that.
Yeah,
I'm
and
excited.
he went viral for that, so I'm sure this will be.
I'm
a
gonna
hit.
listen for sure.
There you go. Let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast. And a reminder heading into today, although the humidity is lower, it felt better to start off with for this morning. Rain chances are higher by this afternoon and this evening. Things will really start to ramp up closer towards 3 o'clock when we notice some of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms, heavy downpours, frequent lightning, gusty winds, some loud thunder, and even some small hail possible than any of these storms. We've gotten many reports of small hail over the past few days, but as we get closer towards 5 and 6 o'clock, more of that rain coverage ramping up. That'll be the peak of it later on this evening. So sports practices, games, anything that falls around 5, 6 p.m. Just a heads up that you might see some of those delays or cancellations. Things begin to fizzle out after that sun begins to set. But here's a look at the next 10 days. So this is going to take us through the July 4th holiday. Our summertime pattern is here and here to stay. No changes on the horizon. Heat, humidity, pop-up showers and storms every single day. Hopefully we'll start to see more of those showers and storms fizzling out just in time for fireworks on July 4th, but we'll keep you updated.
Coming up, we're in the last weekend of June this
I
weekend.
can't believe it. Oh.
I'm ready. Thank you so much for watching Fox 10 Midday. Be sure to stay close for Fox 10 Live at 3 o'clock.